So last night I watched the movie Origins, which is based on the book Caste by Isabel Wilkerson. And now I know I say that I'm a book nerd, right? But at times, especially lately, I'm more of a book dragon than anything else because I collect books. And I have so many of them. And then when I moved houses, I kind of like left some in my permanent home and dragged some into my temporary home. And I left that one back there. Not gonna lie, the thickness of it intimidated me. But now that I've seen this movie, it just I love it. Like now I'm either gonna get another copy so that way I can have it in this house and then read it here, or I'm gonna go, because in a few weeks I'll go back over there for a little bit and then I'll grab that one and take it and bring it with me. I don't know which one I'm going to. It depends when the mood arises, being that I'm a mood reader as well and everything else. But yeah, for sure, the movie just it just gave me this urge to read the book Caste. But let me tell you about the movie Origins. I cried. It has been a particularly tough week for me, so I'm already pretty emotional. But the way that the story was compiled into this movie that had the vibe of a documentary, I thought it was so creative, so outside of the box thinking, just genius. And I enjoyed it. And I love when creative do their things and then just think outside the box and make something fresh for viewers, for audience, for people to devour. I love that because then now you're entertaining and educating us all at once. And I feel that is so important. So in Origin, we see a movie that kind of like interlaces a lot of things. It interlaces the author's, Wilkerson's, family life, personal life, along with her research. And the catalyst to this research is this loss that the author encounters through her partner, her life partner, and then her mother. And then later on, we see that she loses her cousin as well. And it's like through this grief that she goes through, she embarks on this other journey to kind of uncover links to the present moment from the past. And it's so relatable to me as an author, how sometimes when you try to tell your ideas to somebody, particularly at the beginning, it's so awkward and it's just so ineffective. I know when I'm first writing a story, and I'm a discovery writer, and if somebody asks me what is the story about, it's so hard for me to say, just because it's still like spaghetti in my brain at that time. I hadn't sorted out the noodle yet out of the spaghetti bowl, so it's like, so there's a scene in Origin that she is like in the middle of these two white ladies, and I'm assuming that they're like editors or something like that, and then they're like, so what is your book about? And she's coming back. They understand that she just lost her life partner, her mother, and all of that, and understandably so, she's very sensitive and very vulnerable still at that moment. Yet she goes to this event, and she's trying to talk about her book and the thesis behind the book, which is the connective tissue of caste and the chaos that we have in the United States. From the white supremacy and racism here. And to the author, to Wilkerson, she thinks that the link is caste, not so much race, but just a hierarchy system that was created, which is caste, right? It was created in order to not necessarily to subjugate, but the way that I understand it is just to put one group, I was going to say one race, but one group at the bottom, but really it's more about putting one group at the top, right? And then everything else just sorts itself out through that hierarchical system. And being that I'm in an institution that is very hierarchical, it's easy for me to conceptualize and to understand. And to understand just how easy it is for people to fall in line within a system like that. Particularly when all the rules are done to back up that system. The rules are made legal, and the rules are propagated so that way everybody understands them and know the rules that are taught. And then it becomes just a natural way of being. It becomes the culture. It becomes the country, the community, and everybody just abides by it. And eventually many years pass and no one is questioning these things because that is just how it's always been. And that's what we see in Caste. It's just we go back in time, and then she studies the Nazis. She studies the caste system in India as well, and then she sees how like a community, a government came together to really like execute like this hierarchical system to ensure that this group was at the top and then this group was at the bottom. And like in the when she goes to Germany and she's studying the past, the Holocaust and all of that, and then she finds the link between how the Nazis kind of like took the basis of segregation, Jim Crow, in the United States as like kind of like a blueprint of what they were gonna do in their own country. And before that, it was a scene where a German couple, a German lady that she was having dinner with, told her, "Look, it's completely different," you know. The lady told her that it's like your racism started more for capitalism, more like, you know, they brought enslaved African people so that way they can work for them. But the Germans back then, during the Holocaust, the Nazis, I should say, what they did was they were exterminating the Jewish folks. So she made the lady at the dinner table, she made that distinction. And so she was explaining that to her. You can tell Wilkerson, the character Wilkerson, was very uncomfortable because she knew in her heart of hearts that she had a thesis there, that something was there. And I could so relate to that. And when she was talking to her cousin after that happened, her cousin was like, "You always come back with a comeback." Like 2 days later, and that is so me. Like that is so me. I've gotten a little bit better, right? But usually I'm like, it's just like it shocks me, and I stay a little quiet, and I'm like, But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm turning and churning and trying to think of something, but usually doesn't come out until way later, and then I lose my moment. But just because I'm quiet doesn't mean that I agree. Just have to say that. But yeah. So that another relatable moment when it comes to that one. But I love it, and I love to see someone that just understands what they're trying to go after and kind of like is vindicated at the end and is convicted of their thesis, their ideas, and gets after it and achieves it. And really, this book is an awesome book. And then you see the stats at the end of the movie, how it came out number 2 on the New York Times bestseller, and then it stayed there for like 52 weeks in the bestseller list. So obviously everything that Wilkerson did paid dividends for her. And more importantly, it taught a lot of us that that linkage and kind of like understanding how what we have in the present moment, how it started. But like she says in the story, in the movie, the character, she's having an introspective moment, and she's like, we get it, right? It's like buying a house, because the character is selling her mom's house, right? And she makes the analogy that it's kind of like buying this house. You didn't build it, right? You bought it as such. So you came into this house. So guess what? Now those cracks are yours. Are you going to fix it? And it's something to that effect, right? And I love that analogy, because it does answer the gripes that we often hear about, like, well, my ancestors didn't have enslaved people, or I don't treat people like that, or things of that nature. But it really, the movie answers that, got it completely right, and you can still do something about it, right? Because at the end of the day, now we're in this society, right? Now we're in this present moment. We're living in it. We're working, right? We're living our lives. We're going on vacation in these communities and these societies, right? So that means that we have to take ownership of the environment that we're in, right? It's kind of like climate activists. It's the same thing, right? So we need to take ownership of that. Are we just no vamos a hacerlo loco, como que no vemos nada, and then keep going as if nothing has happened because we didn't have ancestors that did anything like that? Or are we going to empower ourselves, learn and unlearn, and do something about it? Whatever it is that you can do within your realm of control, of power, of resources. Because I believe that everyone can do something, even a little bit. And I think that's what the movie gets after, by understanding the linkage of all these events that occurred in different places and how they manifest in today's present moment. Through that understanding, we can empower ourselves to do something about it today. What do y'all think?